Gotta stop.
There's always more to the story.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
And there's always more to say.
Don't ever bring that nonsense in here again.
When going too far feels closer.
Maybe I overdid it.
This space thrives on the restricted. This is the Restricted Area with Robert Guerra.
Yes, sir. The latest edition of the Restricted Area podcast with me, Robert Guerra. Rob G, if you're nasty, coming to you live from sunny Southern California. And with fantasy football draft season upon us, I had to bring in a real mensch, a dude who's been covering the fantasy sports landscape for decades now. Yahoo Sports, FoxSports.com, now hosting weeknights on Fox Sports Radio. You know him, my guy, Mike Harmon. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, man? You look tanned and rested and ready coming out of Las Vegas. I mean, I don't know what kind of hydration thing you got going, but it's working well for you.
It's called a special camera with a ring light. That's all it is.
Oh, very nice. There you go. I'll have to get something softer because right now I'm shiny and it's only a half a minute in. I'm not even under the heat lamp working down in the low post yet.
No, it's all good. Well, speaking of Vegas, you are one of the few people I know who embraces Las Vegas. Not as much as I do, but you appreciate it, right? And so I went to Vegas, you mentioned, over the weekend. I went to the Aria Hotel to visit, walked around. I snapped a picture of the Alibi Bar, which is, if you watch the movie, you know what scene takes place there. Posted on the Instagram, and in it, there's a part where Kevin Kline's character, Sammy the Stove, says, this place has a nice anything can happen kind of vibe, right? I share it. My wife, who was not with me on the boys trip, sees it, direct messages me about it. Anything can happen kind of vibe, huh? Wow, what's that about? And the fact that she didn't get the reference, I was like, do I file up the papers now or what's going on? Because she knows it's my favorite movie of all time, and she didn't get the reference. I was so disappointed. I think
there's always that extra room for education. But there's, that separation, unfortunately, leads to those uncomfortable moments of, well, what does that really mean? Okay, let me send you this video clip, right? You probably went and found the video clip, said, here you go. But yeah, no, that's the thing, right? It's the worlds merge only so much sometimes, right? And that's too bad. But you'd like for your favorite movie to be quotable in that context without potentially being given the third degree or the tracking app on your phone suddenly.
Well, what's funny is as soon as I said, I'm like, no, remember, it's the part where he goes in and he meets the Madonna impersonator. And she goes, oh, see, now you get it. Right? Once I bring up the Madonna or she says the Viagra guy, that's how she knows it from the movie. Like, but still, I was like a little disappointed that she didn't get the reference.
Well, but I mean, think about, the number of years we've been doing radio. You and I, we can run lingo and whatever. But even with, you got Rob and Kelvin and Teichert sitting next to you, who knows more than he lets on.
Sure.
But we work with a lot of guys where, like, you just see the blank stare. It's like, that's actually a really popular movie that should not get that reaction. That's when it gets a little weird. Where it's
right.
Like, really? You missed that decade of pop culture?
And then you're almost like, am I the asshole? Like, I can't be. Like, this is very popular. How are you not getting this?
No, that's it. I mean, here's the gross. It was $1 billion movie. I mean, you had to have run into this at some point. But hey, we live in our little focused lanes,
Yeah. Well, speaking of, you mentioned we've known each other for a decade plus now.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time you and I worked together was on the Fantasy Freaks. Sunday mornings, way back in the day. It was you, it was Peter Burns, it was Nate Lundy. And that's where I want to start here, is because that show was very popular, of course, fantasy football. Help you set your lineup for the day coming up, the rest of the afternoon. And almost without fail, you'd have people like, oh, do I start Sean Green this week or LaDainian Tomlinson? How important is Zach Stacy right now for the Rams? Like these guys who would have never been. There's this young kid at LSU, Odell Beckham Jr. I don't know him, but he had 2 good games in a row, right? And I always think back to that time because it's like you focus so much time on the draft and you want to get the best players. And you feel like you did a good job. You get their grade at the end of the rounds. And then by week 4, it doesn't matter because you're all playing the waiver wire and you're playing guys you never expected you'd play. So you know better than anyone. How important is draft day really in fantasy football?
Well, I mean, huge from the emotional, psychological lift of it all, because it means football's back and it's imminent, right? Because you wait until that last minute, right? It's Braveheart, hold, hold, and then you finally unleash it, right? I was returning a rental car and I was wearing my Cutler jersey because I
Okay.
had to walk and whatever. I'm like, all right, it's 95 degrees, but long story short, immediately starts going. So, what do I do with the Bears guys in draft day? And like all of a sudden, two other attendants come walking over, and I got a mini thing going on here just because I'm wearing a Jay Cutler jersey. I'm like, they have no idea what I do, who I am, whatever.
Right.
But it's the kind of thing when you get into draft day, you're not winning it, but you sure as hell can lose it, right?
Sure.
There's those favorite players, those gambles that you like. You got to make sure you're still in a realistic zone when you do that a bit. Make sure your base is set. But as we know, between substations, injuries, like right before you and I started talking today, I got like 4 little blips on my phone that are like, oh, okay, these are fairly significant things. And it'll lead into some of, I'm sure, what we're going to talk about here imminently. But I think those first couple of rounds, it's like, don't get cute. Don't outthink the room. And then you've got to be active. Now, a lot of leagues where it bogs down is that you'll have half the league either becomes disinterested or they're the ones that aren't going to make a trade because they don't want to make you look smart.
Sure.
Right? Because if it breaks wrong on them, now not only are they losing, but the smack talk at family gatherings and everything is going to go out of control. So I think a lot of it is, have a plan. You've done your research, whoever you trust, whether it's lunatics like me or your own algorithm that you built out, that, you stick with your plan. And then as you get into the later rounds, you want to feel a little cute and get a little spicy, do that, but make sure that base is secured.
Yeah, one of my big worst seasons ever. Tim Hightower, I think, was that 3rd round pick for me. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, goal line guy, but that was about it.
That was about it. Yeah, I was like, it was like one preseason game. Like, oh, he's the guy. I'm sold. Well, speaking of the guy, we had 2 big running backs get paid this week or last week and a half or so. Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, and by all accounts, those 2 guys are going to be vying for pick number 1 overall. If you're picking first, which I know most people prefer not to, if we're being quite honest, but if you are picking first, is it one of those 2 guys, or are you Jamar Chase in there somewhere? What are you thinking?
I'm a running back guy still because the drop off is so significant. Let me give you a little data to go with this, and I'm going to keep it straight to the running backs. The drop off between RB1 and RB12 was nearly 9 points a game last year, which holds. Like it's been about that average for several years now. When you get to RB13 through 24, the difference is less than 3 points a game.
Oh, okay.
But that drop off, if you choose poorly, more movie references, Indiana Jones, whatever. You whittle the dust like your fantasy hopes. These are the guys like wide receivers. Yeah, there's elite guys, but it's not as disparate because a lot of those top guys have a number 2 that might be just as good.
I got some questions about that later.
Right. Things are changed. Doesn't take away from their individual brilliance, but for stat purposes, let's call it what it is. You roll coverage, you change things up, trying to eliminate one guy, someone else gets fed. But for me, as I look at it, and as I said, there were injuries. Mays is going to be out now from the Detroit line for 2 to 3 months is what they're estimating with a hand injury. So it's like all of a sudden you raise your hand going, but here's the thing, like, and it's you process it, and I'll try to keep it short. Bijan's got 2 quarterbacks that can't throw a forward pass.
That's a good point.
He may break James Wilder's. Here's your data point of the day. James Wilder had 492 touches in 1984 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bijan Robinson may break that record this year if he stays healthy. That's the question. With all of these guys, can you stay healthy? But hell, they may wildcat snap it to him before it's all said.
They might have to.
Yeah. They paid him. They paid Drake London, and they got a lot of with Detroit, I think you still have a lot of mouths to feed. And if you're serious about getting back into a playoff mode, while no David Montgomery, the injury part number 2, Pacheco's now hurt.
He's always hurt
in Detroit, right? Yeah. So now they'll figure out what it is behind Gibbs. So this may force him into a bigger touch count earlier in the season, but you're not winning if he's not on the field. So you're going to be judicious about it, I think. You don't have the luxury of David Montgomery coming in. I know fantasy owners hated him, but 3 straight years, top 10 finishes, back-to-back top fives, 49 touchdowns in 3 years. I mean, what's not to like? But I look at Bijan Robinson and I'm just like, that offense can't do anything unless he's touching the ball.
Sure. So it's just volume. The volume play is what we're going for at this point. Okay. And it seems safer. Well, speaking of volume, maybe 2 years ago or this time last year, Saquon Barkley, like, hey, he might go first overall. He is coming off the massive season, could have broke the rushing record, maybe not. And now I'm looking at some of the consensus rankings. I see him right around RB10, some a little higher, some a little lower. Was his fall off last season just based on the offensive line taking a hit? Was it workload fatigue from the year before? You mentioned heavy workload. They fed him a lot, or both. And do you think he's going to have a bounce back season this year?
Don't forget part 3, the revolving door of coordinators. And
that's another good
wonderful
point.
World of Nick Sirianni. So
yes.
Lane Johnson has already basically said, I'm done.
Yeah.
You're looking at the rest of the line. Like they've done a great job. Like always, offensive line, defensive line, they usually have enough depth to get you over. And then it's a question of whether you're getting the support in terms of the passing game. And this is where all the eyes and, you start getting that Spider-Man meme and they're all pointing at Jalen Hurts
right.
At this point. But look at Saquon the last 4 years, 6th, 13th, 1st, 14th. So we've had that odd, even thing. 7 games last year with under 10, with fewer than, I got to make sure I get my grammar right, fewer than 10 points. Week 17 didn't play. 8 games with 15 plus. So you still had half a year where he was strong.
But he was one of those guys who may have killed your team last year.
No, that's right.
Took him in the top 5 and he was just uneven.
But that's just it, right? Is that because you also had like streakiness where he had a run of bad games in a row. Like you can take one.
Sure.
But if your RB1 is consistently putting up, as I said, the fewer than 10 points, he had a 5.9 and 8.7 or whatever, that's going to absolutely submarine you because you've got to now you're really stretching, maximizing, and you're probably getting cute in your decision making with your WR2, WR3 flexes, whatever. So you start having to stretch and outthink it, and it all kind of unravels on you. I think that 8 to 10 is perfect where he is. Okay. He may catch the ball a little more out of the backfield. I think that's the trend. We talked about it, you and I, even before drafts last year. I thought McCaffrey would be a 100-catch guy because that's how he won me a couple leagues last year. Yeah. And that's how they ended up doing it, right? And so I think with Barkley, it'll be a little bit more of that as well because you don't have you've got a changing face at your wide receiver position as well.
Sure.
Goddard's longer in the tooth, back for one more. Like there's a lot there to where as an offense, they can regress as a whole.
Sure.
For him, he'll get his touches, but I think it'll change. So if you're in a half PPR or full PPR league, you might actually get a little more juice and a better, higher floor. Sure. But that ceiling's still going to be pretty low. So back end number 1. And
I heard some speculation. Again, it's August, so we'll see.
Sure.
But the tush push may be not used as much. Because
we watched it even as soon as
but if you're a Saquon owner, that's music to your ears. We'll see if that actually plays out when Nick Sirianni's there 4th and 2. Like, let me just get this first down.
It doesn't work as well, and it showed statistically.
Sure.
Last year didn't work. They got called for a number of penalties.
Right. So they're a penalty every time they do it.
But they were.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what it is. But they actually called it last year, right? It became a point of emphasis almost as if to dissuade them from doing it, which I think without Jason Kelce, that was already going to wane a little bit. Just in terms of the timing that he had with those other linemen. That takes a long time, right? I mean, that's why I think that Mays injury in Detroit is significant for them. So I look at it, and it's a situation where, you might have some more goal line touches there. Several of those will be quarterbacks bootlegs instead of the sneak, but or maybe Goddard. Maybe there's some upside for him in that regard. Maybe get back to actually throwing the ball inside the 5.
That'd be a novel idea, right?
How about that?
Okay. One last running back one before we move on. So I've only gone 0 RB one time, and it destroyed me. Like I didn't even make the playoffs that year. There was nothing I could do on the waiver wire. I had all of these handcuffs. Fortunately or unfortunately, all the top guys stayed healthy, so it didn't matter to me. So now I'm at a point where I'm never doing that. In fact, I'm more likely to go running back than I am to go 0 RB. But if I have to, and the board shakes out the way that I'm not happy with, is there any guy that you think could potentially at least salvage my season?
Yeah, I mean, as you go a little deeper down, Jonathan Brooks finally getting healthy. I mean, I like Chuba Hubbard. He's a good grinded out kind of guy. But Brooks was brought in to be their explosive back there in Carolina. Again, how good is Carolina? I don't know. They won the Hall of Fame game. I mean, that was a thriller. I mean, that's as good. And then that guy hurt his hamstring, Mr. King, on that play. So, I mean, that sucks. Janarian Price has been the easy one. He's in that RB 25 to 30, depending what you want. With Kenneth Walker, the third gone, becomes
and he's a star in Hard Knocks, and people love that.
Are you actually watching Hard Knocks?
I watched one. I mean, I had a 4-hour drive. You know.
No, you know what's fair. It's funny. I was running errands on Friday and I saw a billboard. And the only clip I've used on the show, Jason was off on vacation Wednesday through Friday. I used one clip on the show, and it was to support a LeBron James talking.
Oh yeah,
that I was having
Cooper Cup.
Where he talked about LeBron.
Sam Darnold.
Otherwise, I'm like, it's chaos, right? Because the Bears ruined it. Because the most interesting thing was they didn't want anybody on camera cursing. That's all Ben Johnson does.
Right.
So, and DJ Moore took his family to an ice cream museum. But yeah, ice cream museum. Next time, I can go there. And then you had the whole Giants debacle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of approval of what's going on, and I'm sitting there going, that's Seattle. I mean, we'll get some cool footage of the area, and I know their training camp, like, it's a beautiful look.
It is nice.
Like, I just don't know how exciting, that is. But, as long as Marshawn Lynch pops in a couple times, it'll get spicy. But it helped you pass time on your drive, so that's good. So those are two guys. Rico Dowdle in Pittsburgh, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. I think they'll be better. I mean, look, they'll be a candidate for another 9-8, 10-7 season under McCarthy.
Yep.
But they'll move the ball, I think, a little bit better this year. They rounded out the wide receiver core, bringing in Pittman and whatever. So you'll look at perhaps a better run there. Jalen Warren's still there, but he's proven time and again he's the number 2 guy.
Sure. Safety
valve, pass catcher, whatever. You got Travion Henderson. Because they paid Ramondre Stevenson, still a lot of expectations, particularly in the red zone. It's like, and I've seen that thrown up a bunch, and Henderson still scored 10 touchdowns total last year.
Right.
So while he may not get the 15 to 20 touches, the production was
there. Yeah.
And even if they have that regression, one of my favorite subjects of the last week, right? New England and Chicago getting all the noise, Liam Cohen complaining that he's disrespected because they're not disrespecting him. But Henderson's a guy I think that could be a play. And then you look at a guy like Jeremiah Love, because he's on a terrible team.
Right.
I think folks will run away to a degree.
The Ashton Genty, that would happen with him last year. You're like, I'm not going to get burned again.
Ashton Genty was a top 7, I think.
Right, but it was like, I'm not going to take a guy on a bad team again because look, he can't run the ball. It doesn't matter where I take him.
But he
so
finished
he might
13th
fall
overall.
You would have never guessed that based on the way people talk about him.
Well, but that's what I mean, right? Caught the ball out of the backfield a bunch.
Sure.
3.7 yards per carry. I want to say it was somewhere around 65% of the time he got touched or
behind the line of scrimmage.
Behind the line of scrimmage. You're a Raider guy.
I watched it all. Yes.
You know this, but yeah, I think folks will be surprised when they start doing the research and actually see how that season ended for Genty. And I think Jeremiah Love can have very much the same. And they've actually got a better, well-rounded suite of guys. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously has that asterisk of, will you ever be that guy?
Sure.
Their offensive line's not very good, but they've got some pieces. So we'll see. But I think he's a guy that, based on his draft position, could outperform.
Well, one of those guys you mentioned there in Arizona, Trey McBride. It's either him or Brock Bowers for tight end 1. Matter of preference. Last year, I took McBride over Bowers. Like, well, you're a Raider fan. How are you doing that? I trusted the situation more. But in this case, I'm not going to fight you if you like one or the other. And I think it's pretty locked in. Those guys are 1 and 2, or 2 and 1, however you take it. Is there a guy you like at tight end 3? Or if not, do you think that glut from like 3 to 10 is so tight that you might be better off even waiting later in the draft than trying to sneak up and grab whoever you have at 3rd?
Yeah, I don't think there's an obvious guy. I think the draft board and just the cacophony of voices want to elevate Loveland to Kelsey or Gronkowski's status immediately, because he does a lot of the same things, scraping across the middle, creating space, all of those things. I like it, and I think over a course of a full season, because we saw what he did the second half as that offense started to come together, that you're certainly going to have an argument for him. But the difference between him and Warren, the Kraft's coming back off injury. Now, you hang an asterisk on that because you don't know what he's going to be able to do vertically right away. Laporta was great before he got hurt. Right? He was projecting to a 90-catch, 1,000-yard season. Missed half the year. So, so you got
even Travis Kelce would like win you some weeks just off of 4-5 catches for 50 yards.
But that's the thing, right? That's the guy that everybody writes off.
Yeah.
He still had 800 yards. It's like, it wasn't sexy. And yes, and when he had a drop, it became national.
An interception. It would bounce Karam into the defense's hand.
You know what I mean, though? Like those plays from a guy like him got magnified so much with all of the other stuff going on in his personal life. Congratulations to he and Mrs. But it's the kind of thing like if you saw those numbers blindly, you're like, yeah, I'll take that guy. Yeah, it's Travis Kelce. Yeah. He's older, slower, but if Mahomes is healthy, who's he throwing the ball to?
It's going to Kelce.
So he's a guy that you'll probably get as a back end tight end one, and then you'll be laughing when he's catching the 5 for 50 routinely.
Yeah.
But in terms of your original question, I think I would be the guy drafting another running back so I didn't have to go scraping and do our RB2 territory.
All right, switch gears to receivers. The guy I'm very interested in this season, because of course you have, everyone's Puka Nacua, everyone's excited about Jamar Chase. Justin Jefferson is and has always been a great wide receiver, but his quarterback play last season was, if not the worst, bottom 3 in the NFL.
Sure.
This year, JJ McCarthy, we don't know. Kyler Murray looks like will be the starter. If it's Kyler, because I don't think anyone has any faith in JJ. Is Justin Jefferson back there in the top 5 wide receivers?
I think there's very, very good chance, right? You got a good roster, obviously a good coach. For Kyler Murray, it's the put up or shut up season. Much maligned. We seem to forget that he was playing in Arizona. I mean, not to take a lot of that blame pie away from him and what his work ethic is. Only he, his maker, and his coaches know. But certainly video games on everybody's mind when they think of Kyler Murray. Not just because he's a little guy running around really fast, like playing a video game, but his penchant for Blake Snelling it at times. So
did Call of Duty ever create a Kyler Murray like skin? Because if they didn't,
they really failed.
Yeah, they really dropped the ball.
And Fortnite's made anybody. Yeah. So he should be showing up on there, shouldn't he? I mean, I don't know. But when you look at the overall grid, last year he was right there with fellow former hero and disappointment DK Metcalf in terms of overall points, and Parker Washington.
The immortal Parker Washington.
But if I put $50 in front of 100 football fans and ask where Parker Washington played, I think I'm walking away with my money. Every one of those people. And Alex Pierce was right there with him. He didn't play half the season, or near half the season.
Well, he got paid like he did.
And but that's just it. That's the beauty of it. What I put on tape when I was out there. And you're hoping, wishing that Danny Dimes is back and that everybody's healthy. But it's just that kind of thing, right? When you look at where Jefferson is, ranked 25th, he had a 6-game streak, much like we talked about it with Barkley a little bit earlier, where he was fewer than 9 points a game. Again, your WR1 absolutely murdering you. I can't tell you the number of questions I fielded from folks all over of, can I actually bench him? And it's like, yeah, you're at a point where it's you can't be married to it. You made the pick. Sunk costs, man. Sunk costs. Let's take those economic factors in here. I would draft him with because people are going to be scared of him.
Sure.
Just by mentioning those 2 quarterbacks, they're going to be scared. So I think you'll get value on him.
I'll tell you what, unless he falls precipitously, I don't think I would take him. Again, I think he's great, but we just mentioned Trey McBride. Trey McBride did not pop off until Kyler Murray was out of there, which is crazy to me because Trey McBride is awesome, because Kyler Murray is not, at least historically, one of those guys who's going to funnel the ball to one guy. He for whatever reason, the talent level does not match the production outside of when he's running. So it's kind of sucks if you're a Justin Jefferson truther like I am, that I'm like, I don't know if I'd really take him.
Yeah, you get those 6 to 8 weeks of Kyler Murray before the wheels come off.
Yeah.
But he doesn't force feed, right? That's the one thing with Jacoby Brissett and why he got.
Yeah, he force feed the hell out of him.
Right, but he's like, I got a guy, he'll go get it.
Right.
And he's also a veteran, which is funny because you're trying to keep another job, keep the job in there. In this case, he wins it.
Mm-hmm.
He's a $16 million guy that if it breaks right, Carson Beck becomes the man and they trade him for some assets
to
keep building come the season. But normally you have I've been a quarterback for a decade. I'm just going to the downs and I'm throwing it. But you couldn't trust anybody but McBride and Wilson.
Right.
Because Marvin Harrison Jr. was terrible. So,
right.
And I say that with great reverence to the Harrison family.
Yeah, of course.
And leave it at that. But but I agree with you. Like, if I'm forced in that situation where I think I have to grab him early, I'll go for plan B.
Sure. Okay. Well, speaking of receivers, I think you would agree, deepest position, you had the great stat there about how deep it is, right? You have guys like Luther Bird. I know he's got the groin issue right now. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, even DJ Moore, because now he's supposed to be the top guy there in Buffalo. We'll see. Mm-hmm. But they're all going somewhere between 20 and 30 in the wide receiver range. Because of how deep it is, are you more inclined to wait? I mean, we've mentioned Justin Jefferson. And if so, or even if not, which of those guys in that range are most likely to crack the wide receiver 1 tier?
Yeah, I would have debated the homerism, but a groin injury for a month heading into a season leaves me a little trepidatious when it comes to the Luther Burden Express, because really the bandwagon has gotten very full.
Yes,
you got T. Higgins in that mix. We talked about, those number 2 guys that could be a superstar, but that's all dependent. Is Joe Burrow going to stay healthy?
Right.
Question mark. I don't know.
Which he has not.
Lad McConkey doesn't have Keenan Allen stealing his routes anymore. Mm-hmm. So I think he's one of those guys that could elevate back to a 90 catch guy if things break right and the tackles stay healthy.
And Quentin Johnson keeps dropping passes.
But you see that? It's a lot of if.
Right.
But I think for Justin Herbert, he'll know where his bread is buttered, right? We saw a lot over Hall of Fame weekend. Even Larry Fitzgerald going out of his way repeatedly to throw his flowers the way of Anquan Bolden.
Sure.
Kept all those drives alive, who did all the dirty work. And I think Lad McConkey's that kind of guy for what they need, not with the same tenacity coming off surgeries and whatever else, but or we haven't proven that yet. But I would think that would be the guy that stands out most for me. The other, because of his contract size, folks running away from Zay Flowers. Mm-hmm. He's in that muddle miss. I want to say he's 14th to 16th on most boards. Right. So he finished 7th last year. And that's
I didn't even realize he was that high.
And that's with virtually no red zone work.
Right.
He had 5 touchdowns.
Right.
Right. And, but still finished that high. Again, volume with the occasional big hit. Mm-hmm. And you're looking around the rest of the Baltimore offense, like there's opportunity. He's going to be a high volume guy once again with maybe a little more of a red zone look to him. So I think that's a guy we look at as well. And then Baker Mayfield's going to ball out.
He's going to have to if he wants to get paid.
You know what I mean? You want more than your shoot for 100 again. Fuzzy math to me, but it's quarterback. Like, so it's if they get off to a good start, like this is the if but statement, right?
Sure.
If they get off to a good start, then it stays. Ibuka is going to be a key part of that to make this work, right? Mm-hmm. And that means Baker and they roll up, whatever. But if it goes south, then it becomes all right, did someone get hurt? Baker may become available or benched because you want to just tank.
March for Arch. Yep.
Or whoever your favorite is. Yeah. I mean,
don't go far for Carr.
Well, I like that. There you go.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
I think that's all I got.
Business up before we finish the podcast.
Win less for more. You like that one? That's a good one.
Say that again.
Win less for more.
That's deep and philosophical.
Doesn't rhyme.
I think a lot of folks, if they're a little bit inebriated, they're going to be thinking too hard on that one. Okay. We got to make it simple. You want esoteric on me.
Right.
But yeah, I think he's a guy that I would hang a star on in that second tier.
Okay.
Because if it's going to break and Baker's going to play with his hair on fire, trying to prove everybody wrong, Ibuka's the beneficiary of that.
Okay, we'll get you out of here on this one with quarterbacks. We all know running quarterbacks are the cheat code. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. See some Drake May sprinkled in there, depending where you get him. Jaden Daniels is still probably going to go pretty high. With that in mind, how do you rank guys like Matthew Stafford? Doesn't run. Dak Prescott doesn't run. Joe Burrow does not want to run because his leg might break off again.
Sure.
So how do you stack those kind of guys up, knowing that the rushing is minimal, if any, and you're relying solely on the right shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, Dak's the greatest offense there is what he's touting. I mean, that's pretty stacked offense. The only fear is that their defense is good enough to where he doesn't have to wing it around the same way. And Jade Blue, going back to the original running back question of a couple turns back, he's kind of interesting down there. If this breaks right, and the passing offense is spreading things out, suddenly you got a guy, because we watched it with Rico Dowdle, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, right? So you got an opportunity. But Dak's a guy I think I have no reservations. Stafford, we heard about his back last year, all offseason, then he's an MVP. Nakua seemingly has gotten right, or he's at least saying the right things, even though he fired his agents. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see
I walked through fire with you. All right, bye.
Right.
Okay. I defend you and stand by. But you're looking at an offense that we're expecting to be one of the best, and the defense is going to give him the ball back in advantageous positions.
Sure.
Burrow's a top 3 guy if he's healthy, but I can't trust it. I mean, what we've had the last 3 years, 29th, 3rd, 25th. Offensive line, is it any better? No.
Yeah.
And
got all the toys with no line.
Yeah, I love Chase Brown. I love those receivers, right? It's all great. But out of those 3, I'd trust him least, and that's including the 38-year-old with needing a backiotomy. So, I mean, Dak, for me, really cracks to the top. Burrow, I'll let someone else gamble if it's right. If he wins and all of a sudden Cincinnati's playing back in L.A. for another Super Bowl run, I'd be shocked because that meant the defense actually did something as well. So, but yeah, I think Dak's the guy I would trust out of the 3 because he's going to get his numbers regardless.
There it is. His name is Mike Harmon. Follow on X at Swollen Dome. I love that handle. It's the best thing.
Well, I mean, I framed it a little wider so it doesn't look quite as big. I mean, it's glowing though. I sat in the sun for a soccer game yesterday. Bad idea.
Oh yeah. All right. So make sure you check him out. Weeknights, Fox Sports. Jado, him and Jason Smith doing great work. They come on right after The Odd Couple. So stick with The Odd Couple, Jason and Mike right after that. This has been the Restricted Area Podcast. You have no excuse now with the knowledge that Mike gave you to not win your fantasy league. Okay. 0 excuses.
That's
Mike,
it.
any
or you can blame me anyway, Robert.
Sure, you can do that too.
Here's the old way I've approached this since I started. If I convinced you to toggle on to what I say, I did the job.
Right.
I get an A for my job.
Okay.
If the player fails, it's on him.
Not me.
That's it. If my analysis was enough, or you just wanted someone to blame if it went wrong, that you switched over and you made that change in that either or scenario,
sure.
I did my work.
And that's all you can ask for.
But bring the pain at Swollen Dome. I'll take all your vitriol.
Make sure you check out all the Recliner Media content on YouTube. Follow me on X, on Instagram at the producer RG. Until next time, peace out.